Sad story today. A 10-year-old boy crushed by his foster mom after she sat on him for misbehaving. It's an American story. It's not one we like, but it is an American story. Jennifer Wilson has been charged with involuntary manslaughter. That's interesting. Seems voluntary. Involuntary manslaughter after her 340-pound frame caused the death of 10-year-old Dakota Levi Stevens in Berrien County, Michigan, court documents say. A 10-year-old boy was crushed to death after his fatty bumbati mother sat on top of him after he acted up. Jennifer Wilson was apprehended in Berrien County, Michigan, and could face up to 6 years behind bars. Here's the thing. Let me tell you about this, folks. I, all day, watch these fat women on Instagram, and they make food, and they cook with all processed food. It's disgusting. I'm not going to say who they are. But you know who they are. Like one of them's called like lower middle class mom. There's a few of them. It's a whole genre now of people that use jarlic, the garlic in the jar. They use onion powder and onion salt, and they use processed food to make disgusting meals. And it's not good, and it's not even cooking. They're assembling. They buy ground beef, and they mash it up. They put it in a pan. They make like tater tot taco bake. It's vomit inducing. These are America's mothers. They are America's mothers now. They are all 350 pounds, and any one of them could sit on their child. Any one of them. They should see this as a warning. Many of these women probably sit on their children to get their ADHD children to calm down. Because as we've talked about on the show, the children now are insane. They run around screaming. They're either on the spectrum or they're ADHD or they're a little bit of everything. There's a lot of problems. People are having children much later in life, and they're coming out with all kinds of issues. So these fat women with these unruly children are all turning to the only thing they know how to do, which is sit on their children to physically restrain them. Maybe they're not sitting on them. Maybe some of the women are leaning on the children, where you see a child, this emaciated, crazy child eating Fun Dip, screaming, ah, trying to burn his sister alive. And then the mother just leans on him to just kind of like stop him or sits on him. This is something that's going to happen. And this was sad because this woman killed her child. But this is, I predict, this woman is not alone. These women that I have watched make things like tater tot taco bake are sitting on their children to immobilize them. Dakota Wilson can be heard yelling multiple times when she realizes that the child has stopped moving. She then instructs one of her other children to dial 911. 911. I was about to say her other child to dial 911. I was laying on him and he was acting bad, Wilson is heard saying in the video. Wilson had 3 other adopted children living in her home. Department of Child Services spokesman Brian Heineman confirmed her foster parent license is currently suspended and under review for revocation. Currently suspended? They didn't even revoke it. She sat on one of her children and killed them. And they're not even just revoking it. They're just suspending it. She sat on her child. Can you imagine the other 3 that have to grow up now? They go on their first date and they go, yeah, well, my family, this, that, and the other thing. And then they look down and they go, why? What's going on with you? And you go, well, I was in a foster home and my foster mother sat on my brother and killed him. That is not a nice thing to walk around with for the rest of your life. I mean, it pales in comparison to the things in Kim Cheadle's head. But for most people, watching your brother get crushed by your 400-pound foster mother is a negative. Truly. It's going to stick with you.